Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check, now you're on my hit list. Nintendo's back in business. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. So why don't you mind your business? The industry's gonna talk about is my hit list. What is going on, YouTube? This is a mic check, or LBC in a way too. So I want to talk about something that I like to watch Mojo time and again. Again, it's subjective. It is what it is. Top 10, blah blah blah. They do what they do. They're very popular on YouTube. But I like to point out certain things because they go with the majority of saying certain things, and I need to do a mic check. So right now they have a video called Nintendo vs PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 1, of course. And they're talking about that video. Basically, at the end, they said it depends on the library. It really depends on how you guys enjoy games, which is, I have nothing against that conclusion. But I want to let you listen to this part, and let's see what they talk about, because it's kind of crazy. Because I've seen people use this same analogy and try to turn down this. So let's get into their video about the controllers between the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation 1.
Hey! Why is everyone being so quiet?
Round 3. Controller.
Which is the first time that we saw the familiar triangle, circle, X, and square buttons.
As mentioned before, Nintendo brought a control stick into the mix, placing it in the center of an M-shaped controller. Though the overall shape was found to work well, the placement of the yellow C buttons and the awkwardness of plugging rumble or memory packs into the back highlighted the controller's bizarre design.
More when you try to squeeze one hand in here and then use another one there, and then it's really difficult to get these buttons on top.
However, the stick itself also had a massive flaw. They loosen up very easily, especially after playing games like Mario Party, which require intense stick rotation. The PlayStation's controller, meanwhile, went with a central shape akin to the Super Nintendo's controller, but with handlebar-esque grips at the bottom.
And a completely unique design. If you think about when this came out, there was nothing else like this.
This design element, coupled with the manageable layout of its direction pad, 4 shoulder buttons, and action buttons, made for a controller that was distinct yet comfortable. Though with only digital input, it wasn't ideal for the 3D gaming the industry was moving towards. That all changed with the arrival of the DualShock controller, Sony's answer to the N64's analog stick, which featured not one, but 2 sticks, thus setting a new standard for 3D control.
Take a look at the size of these things. They are identical.
In fact, the DualShock controller was so well put together that its design is still being used by Sony today. Granted, there have been minor additions over the years, but the overall shape and input placement has remained essentially the same.
These things practically shake the house.
In comparison, the N64 was Nintendo's only controller to use the M shape, with their follow-up, the GameCube, going for a completely different design.
They've essentially removed this middle piece and then shifted all the buttons and sticks around.
For a smart design that's still being used today, Sony wins.
Alright, so we have that Watch Mojo talking about the controllers. As you can see, that was the first PlayStation controller that came out. And I have a little problem with that because the Nintendo 64 brought a lot of things to the forefront. The memory card, the rumble pack feature. I don't know how you say it's awkward for the rumble pack feature. And at that time, I was about in middle school, so my hands weren't that big, but I had no problem playing this game. Now, the funny thing of using Mario Party, which was one of the most controversial games back in that time, of losing the stick. I played Smash Brothers. I still have a N64 controller from when I bought my 64, and it still works to this day. Sticks still work, everything that works. Does it mean that other people did not get that problem? Of course it doesn't mean that. But to give the PlayStation the upper hand on something that they not only, one, as you point out in the video, they took the design from Super Nintendo. 2, they took the analog sticks, which they didn't have, from Super Nintendo. Do I say I'm happy that they and don't forget the rumble feature that it took from the Nintendo. Does not mean that the dual analog is not a bad thing. and the double LNR, like, you know, that's not a bad thing. That's great. They added that on feature, and I give Sony a thumbs up for doing that. But the shoulder buttons was Nintendo. The analog stick was Nintendo. The rumble feature was Nintendo. Even to say the camera, if you play some of the camera like Mario 64, you know, they use the C buttons. That's what I remembered. I don't think a lot of people Zelda's, and also remember the 64. They brought in Z targeting and lock on and all that stuff. So it was something that Nintendo know the shortfall of designing the games for the controller. Wow, Sony didn't. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but remember they were mostly third-party eccentric than in-house setup. There were some games that was good that way. Like I love Crash Bandicoot, but with that fixed angle, it was difficult to do certain jumps or whatever. Love the game, but the game was designed a weird way around the controller. Now, for them saying that the DualShock, is it comfortable? Yes. And the DualShock is being used still to this day, just with little minor ways of playing. I can't give Sony that win, including that D-pad. This is my subjective right here. I'll point out. Hated that D-pad. To this day, I still hate this D-pad. Because some of the games at the time when I used to be into were like some of the 2D games or some of the Street Fighter games, I couldn't, man, I just fighting, I used to not like it. But doesn't take away that Sony introduced the dual sticks and also the double shoulder pads. They innovated on something that Nintendo did. That's cool. But most of the innovations that Nintendo did on 64 is in the controls all till now. That's why at the end you saw them, they talk about, hey, Nintendo created a new controller in the GameCube. And then if Nintendo stopped there, then we wouldn't have some great ideas with the Wiimote. You know the Wiimote that has the best way to play, one of the best way to play first-person shooters on a console. Sorry. And also get into games like golf and tennis and everything. Yeah, I'm sorry. That Nintendo happily innovated more and go out, and now that's why we have the Joy-Cons for the Nintendo Switch. So with that, I just had to do this mic check because I'm looking at this objectively and showing you that this right here should have gone to Nintendo because they have innovated the industry more than the others. They mainline and mainstream some of the ideas. Doesn't say that they innovate everything, but doesn't take away what Sony did with the DualShock and say, hey, you know what, let's put some analogs on there because remember they had 3D games and it was rough to do it too, just like what Nintendo did too. But they didn't add on games, like I said, they didn't put to the point that we should find the shortfall and make the game like how Zelda did with auto jumping. Same thing with Mario using the C sticks for the camera control, or using the Z as a position the camera right behind you once again, and Z targeting and lock on and so on and so on. So sorry, just giving you what is going on about that. But I hope you guys enjoy this mic check. I'll catch y'all later. Remember, there's no perfect games. What's perfect to you is not perfect to me. What's perfect to me is not perfect to you. Simply enjoy those games on all console, and we'll keep on going. Peace out.